Beautiful fall morning, we are going to start harvesting Mizuna, and this is a Japanese mustard green. It's absolutely beautiful and I want to show it to you, and then a little later on I'm going to show you this great little recipe on how to use Mizuna. So this is the Mizuna, and you can look how beautiful these stems are, these beautiful purple stems. And this is a Japanese mustard green, and it's pretty mild. Now as the weather, if it got hotter, then it's going to, the Mizuna is actually going to pick up that heat and get a little more peppery tasting. But this morning it's just had a little frost on it. It's going to make it super sweet. So let's get to harvesting. So what I'm going to do is pick it up and just find a place to get in there, because I want to make sure that I get a nice clean cut on this Mizuna. And like all greens, they tend to want to cook down some, so I want to make sure that I get really a good handful of greens for our farm box. And what they don't use on this pickup, they can freeze them. So, which makes it really nice, because in the fall especially, there's a lot of these fall greens that can be frozen. Just a quick couple of minutes in a pan of boiling water, and they can stick them in freezer bags, and this can go into the winter, and then they can put them in all kinds of things like pastas and soups and all of that. So this is about what I'm looking for, this nice big handful of Mizuna, and it's just these beautiful leaves with this purple stem. Absolutely gorgeous, and it is delicious as well. So I'm just going to take my rubber band and go 3 times around it, shake it off, little water, little from the dew, and then stick it in our basket, and then give it a nice wash, and it's ready to go. So there we go, Mizuna. Hey y'all, it's Peggy Marchetti here at Madison Creek Farms, and today I want to introduce you guys to a Japanese mustard green called Mizuna. And Mizuna is this beautiful oak leaf, very mild mustard green that is perfect this time of year. Now you're going to find Mizuna in your farmers market and in your farm CSA box in the fall and in the spring. And right now it's at its mildest and its sweetest because it's been a little frosty out here these mornings, which makes these mustard greens so delicious. So today I want to introduce you to Mizuna, and I want to show you this wonderful, quick, creamy chicken fettuccine that uses Mizuna and a little prosciutto and a little lemon. It's so delicious. So you guys come on back and let me introduce you guys to the world of Mizuna. All right, so welcome back. So I spent this morning harvesting some Mizuna for our CSA farm box shareholders. So they all went home from the farm with this organic fresh Mizuna. And so I thought it would be great to do a little recipe to show you guys a great way to use Mizuna. Now you can eat Mizuna raw. You can throw it in salads. You can use, especially citrus goes so well with mustard greens, so you can use like a little citrus salad with Mizuna. And it's really, really easy and mild. So it's fast becoming one of my favorite mustard greens. So today though, I want to do something just a little bit heartier for my bunch of boys. So I want to do this creamy fettuccine that uses Mizuna. And so what I want to do is I'm going to kick this pan up. Here we go. I'm going to kick this pan up to about a medium heat. I'm going to put a little olive oil in my pan. Now this is a great one pot, which y'all know how much I love those one pot dishes. So this is a great one of those. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And the first thing I want to do is start working on some aromatics. So I want to go ahead and give a chop to my little leftover candy onions. I'm going to mince these candy onions. I've almost went through our whole harvest of candy onions, making a lot of onion rings for my son Luca, because he loves onion rings, and we found this really keto-friendly onion ring recipe with these candy onions that we've been doing a bunch. I need to do a video on that because they are so delicious. So I'm just going to chop up this onion, and I want to kind of chop it just a little fine here because this is a kind of a creamy fettuccine dish. Now, I tend to, a lot of people, or some people, we're going to put some chicken in this. So a lot of people will go ahead and cook their chicken off first. I like to cook it after my oil has been flavored with these aromatics. So with all of these onions, probably won't need all of these onions. I'm just going to go ahead and just pop it in there. You hear that sizzle? That's what you want to hear anytime that something like onions or anything like that hits your pan. You really want to hear it sizzle. That way you know that it's starting to cook right off. I'm going to save these for something a little later. So the next thing I want to do is I want to get some of these little sweet peppers. It's the end, getting to the end of our pepper season. So I'm going to miss my peppers. But these little sweet banana peppers are turning colors, so they're going to add a little nice kind of color to it. Also, they're going to add some sweetness to this fettuccine dish. Same thing, I'm just going to give it kind of a little bit of a fine chop. And like most of these kind of dishes, you really want subtlety. You don't want one great big flavor standing out with these aromatics. You really want to keep it kind of subtle. So I want to kind of give them all a kind of a little fine chop. Perfect. To that, I'm going to add a few red pepper flakes in here. Yum. I love working with the red pepper flakes in this. So I'm just kind of browning these off. Now for my chicken. Now I've been marinating this for about 6 hours. And what this is, it's salt and pepper. There is some some robust Italian dressing. And then it has some sriracha. That's right, sriracha. So a little bit of heat. Now all I want to do is I want to add a little bit of smoked paprika, a little smoked paprika to it. And I'm just going to toss these in and brown these off. So 3 good ones right on top. Let me give my hands a wash here. Perfect. Anytime that you are working with meat, you need to make sure, don't cross-contaminate. You need to make sure you wash your hands really well after you handle the meat. Perfect. Yum. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to brown this chicken off. I'm going to go ahead and start adding some garlic because we all know that I have a garlic thing. So I just started planting garlic for the next year's harvest, for 2020's harvest. So putting in a lot of garlic for that. I can't wait for garlic scapes next spring. And garlic scapes, matter of fact, in this recipe is delish. And that's the thing about these little recipes, is that you can change these up. You don't have to just use the Mizuna. You can use whatever green you want, including, and I really do like some arugula. The arugula in this because of that kind of little peppery bite to it. So I'm just kind of chopping this garlic up pretty fine. Again, that was just a couple of cloves. Go ahead and toss it in. Perfect. And all I'm doing is letting this chicken with these peppers and this onion kind of just brown off. This is also really going to flavor up this oil. Now, like it's not going to be flavorful enough, I'm going to add just a little bit of prosciutto, which is an Italian bacon. It's kind of got this nice little smoky taste to it that is wonderful. It's also going to give it this nice little crunch. Just kind of dicing it up. Claw fingers back, good sharp knife. You hold that knife, start here, grab it under. Remember your thumb. Pulling that thumb back, get the thumb behind. I always have to remind myself to pull my thumb behind my claw fingers. Yum, right in there. It's looking beautiful. So, when you know, fettuccine is one of those, especially a creamy fettuccine, is one of those very rich sort of dishes. And because of that, you really want to make sure that you're using really fresh ingredients. You want to, real butter. So this is just a little chicken herb mixture that we have here. It's just a little chicken herb seasoning. My daughter, who lives in Charleston, South Carolina, brought it back to me from this Boone Hall, which she lives right down the road from this great, beautiful plantation called Boone Hall, and it's a real working farm. And I've been there. I've played music there before, and it's such a great place, and it's such a great venue, and they have this great little farm store. And when she comes up, she always brings me something from the farm store, and I so love that. So we're just going ahead and cooking that chicken off. I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. Can I do this? The thing about when I'm cooking up here at the pavilion, I always forget something. It's always down at the house, and I always forget it. So you just kind of have to roll with it, baby. Roll with it, baby. Just go on with it. So I'm just looking for something to put my chicken on to drain off. Now you can cook, or not cook, but you can cut this chicken up into bite-sized pieces. I'm just using them like tenders that are going to go right on top of my fettuccine. Just letting them cook. And they smell so good. So I'm going to go ahead and start prepping this Mizuna. So what I want to do, you can use the stems on this Mizuna. So I'm going to go ahead and just take some, a handful. Now, like all mustard greens, it wilts down, but I'm just going to kind of give it a chop. Just a rough little chop. And then when I get down the stems, I'm going to cut those just a little bit finer. Get another little handful. Now, Mizuna, like all mustard greens, all the greens, will freeze beautiful. So you can just throw these into boiling water for a minute. They're going to turn really bright green. That's when you know they're done. And then you can stick them into a freezer bag and throw this into soups. I love to throw Mizuna into like minestrone soup during the winter time. Oh, it's just so delicious to have that, you know, that time of year. It's just delicious. Okay, that is about done. Gorgeous. That prosciutto is getting nice and crisp. It's going to be a beautiful fettuccine. So, now I'm going to throw in my greens. Right on top. To those, I'm going to add a little bit of vinegar. That's going to sweeten them up. I'm also going to add some of the, this is Paleo pink powder. I'll leave a link below where you can get it. It's absolutely delicious, and it's this really nice seasoning that my niece Emmy introduced me to, and it goes so good with greens. Absolutely delicious. All I'm doing is sauteing them down. I'm going to add just a little bit of onion powder right on top, a little garlic powder right on top, and then I'm going to add some of our little house herbal mix. It's basically basil, parsley, a little oregano right on top, and a little bit more olive oil. Gorgeous. Now, let's get ready for our fettuccine. So, I need some butter, and I'm going to leave it all right in this pan. I'm not going to take anything out. So, a good half a stick of butter. Stir it right in this pan. Not the paper. You don't want the paper in the pan. Wow. Looks so good. So I'm going to melt down this butter. And I might add a little bit more. So 3/4 of a stick of butter. Because I want it to be nice and creamy. And use real butter, good butter. Then I'm going to go in with some Parmesan cheese. In just a second, I'm going to get my Parmesan cheese ready, my big block. To this, I'm going to add some heavy whipping cream. Now you can use half and half, but I'm going to go with heavy whipping cream because it is going to be rich. Give that a stir. I'm going to turn my eye down a little bit. I'm going to add just a little bit of flour to thicken it up. Not much. I'm going to add some salt, or this is pepper, coarse, just coarse black pepper right in there. A little bit of salt. And then when I do my fettuccine, I keep some pasta water in with my fettuccine. This is cooked fettuccine. I'm just tossing it right in. So when I cook my fettuccine, I always cook it to be al dente. So if it says 12 minutes, I usually cook, and when I'm doing recipes like this, I'll cook it for 10 to 11 because I really want it to cook in this creamy, beautiful sauce that's in here. Beautiful. So now I'm going to go in with some grated Parmigiana. And the Parmesan is going to be this nice, salty, but really creamy. Add this creaminess to this. And you just got to keep moving it around some. Here we go. Get it cooking here. Bring it back up to a nice simmer. I'm going to keep grating on my Parmesan. And you could use pecorino cheese in here if you want. Just want to get it nice and cheesy. I also want to add just a little bit of lemon zest. And what the lemon zest is going to do, it's just going to kind of brighten it up. Just like that. All right. Just bring it up to a boil. Let it thicken up. Oh. This is going to be so delicious. Just bring that right up to a boil and just let it cook for just a little while longer. Now you can add more cheese or less cheese. I'll probably add more cheese. I am going to finish it off with a lot of Parm also. And then I'm just going to grab some of my parsley. And give it a nice chop. We had this beautiful farm wedding here this weekend. And so the weddings, they have their weddings in the pavilion. So after the weddings, I'm always looking around for, you know, this is a different table they've moved my other table. So I'm always having to spend the next few days kind of going, where is my stuff? So, but the farm weddings, they are absolutely gorgeous. If you guys get a chance, check out the farm's Instagram page, or Madison Creek Farms Facebook page, because we post a lot of those pictures of not only pictures of the farm and the farm life, but also of these gorgeous farm weddings that are just wonderful. The very first, when we started doing weddings here on the farm, it was because of this lady. Y'all might know her. Her name is Martha Stewart. I got this call. My husband, who, we started this farm in 2000. And so at the time, Martha Stewart was just the biggest thing there was. And, and I loved watching and getting her magazine, and just really loved Martha Stewart and her mom. Those recipes that when she would cook with her mom, I always loved that. Well, anyway, so Mark, my husband, he knew that I was just this big fan of Martha Stewart's, just loved her, and kind of, imagined my farm to be like Turkey Hill and just all of that. Well, my husband calls me and he goes, hey, you need to come in from the flower field because you have a telephone call from New York. And so I go into the house and he says, you need to take this. And I answered the telephone. I said, hello. And this woman on the other end, she said, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I am from Martha Stewart's show. And I, being the uncouth southerner that I am, and I said, you're kidding me, right? No, this is a joke. And she's like, no, we are doing this show about green weddings, and we would love to come to your farm to shoot and talk to you about all of your flowers and all the things that you do organically for this green wedding layout. It's going to be the show, and then they'll do the magazine. And the magazine, I almost dropped the telephone. I could not believe it. So, I hung up the phone going, oh my gosh, dreams do come true. Can you believe Martha Stewart is coming to Goodlettsville, Tennessee, just right outside of Nashville, to my farm? It was just such an honor, and they did. And after she filmed the show and did all of that, we started having weddings here on the farm that long ago. And it's just been so beautiful. Some of these weddings, getting to share in the lives of when they're starting their lives out together. In this wedding this weekend, we had 2 brides, and their name was Erin and Sarah, and they had the most beautiful wedding, and it was such a joy. But I can't find a thing now. I can't find anything. So we're done. This is so gorgeous. So let's get this plated, and I'm going to show you this creamy fettuccine with this Mizuna mustard greens in it. So delicious. So y'all stay with me, and I'll get this plated up. Woo! That smells so good. Okay, so our creamy pasta fettuccine with that beautiful chicken, and that Mizuna is ready. So I'm just gonna get it into this bowl. It smells and looks absolutely delicious. I'm just gonna make a big old mess. Darn. That's tasty. Just get it right in this bowl. And dinner's done. I'm just gonna put this chicken right on top. So Mark and Luca and I can just grab a piece each, and we're ready to go. Nice salad. Get a nice salad going. So all I'm going to do to garnish is I'm going to chop up some parsley, some fresh parsley right on top. I'm also going to, just right on top, fresh parsley. Make it pretty. And then I'm going to grate a little more parm right over the top. Looks beautiful. I'm going to add some fresh Mizuna, just on the side. And then I'm going to go in with my lemon. Just get a good nice piece, and then I'm just going to squeeze some lemon over the top of it. That's just going to brighten it up. It's not going to have this lemony taste to it, but it is going to absolutely make it brighten it up. And that is my dinner. Good night. There you go. It looks gorgeous. It smells gorgeous. I cannot wait to dig in. So, if you guys, those of y'all that aren't in our farm box CSA, I hope that you will find your local farmer, your local organic farmer. They're going to be the little farmers that are in your neck of the woods, your local community, and they would love to talk to you guys about sharing all of the crops that they grow, because they want to feed their neighbors. That's what they're growing for. And you will never, ever, ever eat like you will when you get your food locally from these local farmers. They're growing things that you may have not tried. A lot of our CSA members have never tried Mizuna. And so now this has opened up a whole new world. There's going to be things that you don't like, and you can just pick and choose and kind of go through, but you will try a lot of different foods, and you will never experience food like you will when you have a local farmer that's growing for you, and you are part of that local farm with their CSA or at their farmer's market. So anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to take my chicken fettuccine with my Mizuna and go into the house and start getting the boys ready for dinner. Thank y'all so much. You guys have a beautiful fall. Thank y'all.